Question everything, trust nothing. It's your boy, CryptoKeeper, and we are here for a TA Thursday around the charts. And we're going to get into some top alts today as well. I know we've had some requests for that, so we're going to do that. If you didn't check out the title, we've got some fun ones. We've got ADA, XRP, and then obviously ETH, and we're going to be hitting up Bitcoin. So it's Thursday. Let's see who we got behind the what's the behind the curtain. Who are the men behind the curtain? Number one, we've got the legend, Bill Noble himself. Bill, how are you?
I'm good, sir. Thanks for having me.
I am glad to have you on as always. Excited to dive in, have a little bit of fun with some alts today too. And then as always, Magic Internet Money. Magic, what's going on?
Not much, man. Just another Thursday. Gonna talk some price action.
Another Thursday talking price action. As we talk price action, Crypto Fam, in the chat, we're starting to do just a random one-off from somebody in the chat. So someone throw out an alt at some point, and we'll take a look at it. We're going to put one of these gentlemen on the spot here during the show. So if you've got something that you really want, convince me in the chat why we need to assess that asset during the stream, and we'll do just a little bit of TA on it. If you're not already involved with Danger Close Alpha, jump in, get involved, learn about prepping, have some fun, get the opportunity to win 5 Ethereum. It's dangerclosealpha.com. That's the website. And then you can jump into the Discord. We are making some changes within the community, within the Discord. So pay attention for that. There's going to be some restructuring going on, and some of the factions are, going to need to step up and jump in on some of the games, get heavy with it. All right, cool. Let's check out the markets. Let's start there. See what's going on. Smash the likes as always. Follow us on Twitter. Follow Bill Noble. Follow Magic Internet Money. Their links are down below the stream as always. All right, let's see the markets. See what's going on. We have been green, green, green. And today we are, drum roll please, green. The crypto market cap globally is at 1.05 trillion with a T dollars. That's up 1.79%. Bitcoin's at 23,077. I've been talking to you about that 23 number. We've been above it. We've been below it. We've been flirting with it. So we're going to ask here in a few minutes why that 23 number seems to be important. Is it because it's a big whole number, or is it because there are some other things at play at going on there in the charts? ETH 1600 seems to be that number for Ethereum. So it's been flirting with that number. It's 1590. It's 1615. It's just been flirting around that number, and BNB has been hanging out around 300. So we've been seeing some very consistent numbers, up, down, sideways a little bit, but everything as a whole has been pretty green. Cardano, we're going to get into today, is up over 5% today and almost 12 on the week. And then XRP fam, pretty flat today, but still almost 5% up at 41 cents. Rounding out the top 10, we've got Dogecoin, but who cares about Dogecoin? And Polygon Matic, man, up almost 12%, up 14% on the week. All right, let's start off macro. Before we dive into the actual charts specifically, I want to hear from both of you. What are your thoughts on the market? Let's see. Were you both on last week for TA Thursday as well? Yes? No?
Yes.
Maybe? Yes? Okay, great.
Yeah, we were there.
All right, so I'll kick it off with you, Bill. Any changes that you have seen since last week that are notable that the people need to be paying attention to?
Well, we're still in the disbelief phase, so everyone's looking for the local top.
Okay.
I get that from a trading point of view, maybe for a couple days. But when people are searching for a top and people don't believe what's happening, it's not only going higher, it's going much higher. So the disbelief phase is still in effect, which I believe to be bullish.
Okay, fantastic. Magic, thoughts?
It's doing what we were saying it was going to do last week, go up. So to me, direction is still up. There's been no sign of weakness just yet in the chart. I think it'll be fairly obvious when that comes. There's some pretty clear levels, so up.
Okay. Who's doing Bitcoin? Bill, you going to do Bitcoin? Yeah?
Yeah, I can do Bitcoin.
Yeah, let's kick it off with Bitcoin. Let's start there. As many of you know, or probably all of you know, this is what always leads the way in the markets, or maybe the stock market, I guess you could argue, leads the way sometimes. But let's check out Bitcoin. Let's start there. Let's see what we got.
Okay. Let's talk about GAN. GAN, in many ways, is about price and time.
Okay.
The simplest way to use GAN is to find an interesting point. I'm going to use August 2015. This is a log chart of Bitcoin because, you know, there was a low and then it was a monster run up. So I'm just going to say, all right, let's use that as a point, right? And then I am going to go back to the regular scale and I'm going to just plot my GAN stake. And then I am going to look for something that resonates. Boom. So the blue line is a 2x1 GAN line. And I just dropped it there. And I put the 2x1 line on top of the 2017 high. And then you just take a look. And what do you get? Well, it looks like this same 2x1 line, every time Bitcoin tried to thrust through it, it came back down below it. So this was irrational exuberance. You had a lot of winterish activity down here. And look what we got. We got the FTX low right on top of that line. So these fan lines, like I showed you, they just draw themselves. And I just decided to connect these 2 points and look what we got. Now, when you draw a GAN fan line, sometimes it can pay to add something else to it. So let's call GAN price and let's call fib circles time. And I'm going to connect the COVID low to the Nove 2021 high.
Okay.
Just because that was an interesting time period, right? That was the bull market.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So where does the GAN line price intersect the fib circle line time? What does it tell us for a near-term prediction? Well, how about the intersection is right there?
What about 32?
Goes at 33K. So by March 20th, Bitcoin should be at 33K. So that's
a bold prediction.
It is, but disbelief can last a long time. And the case for Satoshi's vision has never been higher, right? It's never been a better case. 33K Bitcoin to me seems like, I don't know. It seems like Goldilocks.
So what?
That's how I would do Bitcoin.
Okay. So let me ask you something, Bill. So when you're looking at these, when you're looking at these GAN charts, why are for those of you that have not seen a GAN chart, what is it about the GAN charts? Because you do some hand-drawn GAN charts like that. That's
right.
this is one of your things. You're the only person that comes on the channel that I see, use these GAN charts. What is it that you like about a GAN chart? And is there an easy way for someone that's new to the game to get this figured out, to start looking into GAN charts and, maybe using this as a potential indicator for themselves?
Okay. Good question. This is how I got into crypto.
Okay.
So GAN was a big believer in price and time, right? So price, he would literally pencil, right? He would draw the price and then he would make these angles. They're kind of like the unseen edge, right? So these angles have different uses when I use them electronically, but the answer to your question is, I had a statistics professor in business school. Yes, business school. And he said, statistics, day one, looked at us and said, rule number one, plot your data. You get a distinct feel for how things work when you draw it by hand.
Okay.
I didn't know what Bitcoin was. I didn't understand what made Bitcoin move. I didn't know anything about it when somebody from Goldman called me and said, can you please look at this? Because we got a lot of people that used to read your work. They're interested. So drawing was my learning tool. Now for this, when it comes to using the GAN lines electronically, right, I just like to, draw them and then see what resonates. Like, okay, this point was a top and this was a double blow off.
And why does it start back at August 2015? Why is that the I guess it'd be what, the vector? Why is that? Why is the start?
Why did I start there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because when I went back, I'll take the GAN lines off, right? When I went back and I looked at the chart on a log scale basis, right? Because that's kind of how you have to look at Bitcoin. I see that August in 2015, like there was all this bear market and chop, but once it made the low in August 2015, it just took off.
It was up into the right.
Right. And that's when you're doing GAN, That's essentially what you're looking for. Like, how do I know where to draw my Gann lines? Well, find 2 important points or find 1 important point, right? So one more time, you know, drop a line and then, I don't know, try that blue line, draw it off the 2017 high and see what you get. Here you got an overshoot and here you got a bottom. Now you've got lines that you can look at. So yeah, it's subjective, but it's more interesting than just connecting 2 points and making a trend line, because believe it or not, things like trend lines and triangles, they don't work in crypto. They don't. Legacy TA doesn't work in crypto because crypto is the Wild West.
Hold on a second. Why do you say that? Why do you think that they don't work?
Because in crypto, unlike in legacy, everybody is a technical analyst.
Okay.
Right? I mean, back in legacy, the technical analyst was like, he was like the voodoo priest, right? In other words, you know, fundamental analysts in legacy couldn't say, oh, I did some TA on the stock I cover. They were like, hey, Bill, can you chart this up for me before I do my presentation? Right now, crypto, obviously totally different, right? Everybody opens up Coinbase. Everybody opens a Twitter account. Everybody gets TradingView. They have, you know, 10 followers and they get busy with their charts. And that's great. That's great. We want people to be in crypto. We want people to be in TA. We want people to look at charts. But if everyone's looking at the same thing, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah. The crypto markets are the Wild West. We do have a lot of people that absolutely will jump in, learn 1 or 2 little things and start teaching it to everyone, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. The thing that I don't love is that, you know, a lot of these characters that I have seen, they like to, I don't know, put in a long and a short every day and show you which one ended up playing out and not show you the other one. You know what I mean? Like there can be a lot of plays in there. So pay attention. You know, the time will tell. And I think that you should be able to see through a lot of the bad actors. But you know, just watch a lot of different people. I do like seeing a lot of different, you know, strategies, and then figure out what works best for you. Right. I'm not somebody that trades often. I love to watch what these guys do. There's a reason that we bring on the experts. It's because I know I'm not one. That's just plain and simple. I also know that I don't have time to do what these gentlemen do. And so I hope that everybody in here will smash the like for the appreciation of bringing on the best in the TA space. And Maz Magic so kindly reminded me, a long and a short on the same day is called a shlong. So don't ever forget the shlong. You definitely need the shlong. All right, so we're gonna actually run over. We're gonna go Bitcoin, alt, ETH. Well, I guess ETH technically is an alt, but we're gonna go Bitcoin, alt, ETH, alt, and then at the end we'll go off of one of these. You know, somebody in the comments. But I want to take a quick second to say to the chat. Hello, Hazley, your owner. We got Brad in the house. Puddles, unforgettable name. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully you all are well. It is absolutely gloomy here in Ohio. Maybe you guys have some sun somewhere. Mr. B, obviously Magic, you're in the chat and on stream. Your owner, who else we got in here? Brad, somebody, here it is. I wanted to touch this real quick. So we're talking about trading. And RC Moore said, made $200 on a 1-minute candle yesterday. Was in and out for less than 30 seconds. BitGet, 77x leverage. Green smiling face over green smiling face, green smiling face. So before you chart Magic, this next one, let's do Cardano. Before you chart Cardano, what do you think about a 77x leverage play? And yeah, I'd just like to hear about it.
I think that leverage is fun, but if you're that excited about a 77x trade, you know, or leverage trade, then you're probably just gambling. So I hope you're using money that you're cool with losing if it happens. But if you win, it was fun, right? And you get to play again. So for me, do I think it's a long-term profitable strategy? Probably not. Over time, I don't think that's a recipe for success. But if you're just out here having fun, just YOLOing, by all means.
If my math is correct, it would need to be about a 1.2% move to get liquidated, correct? So
Yeah.
effectively, we're talking a couple $100 on Bitcoin.
There are 100% 100x strategies, and I've done them before with like old groups that I was in. The problem is that you have to be able to really manage that risk, meaning that you understand your position size is going to be next to nothing, not next to nothing, but it's going to be very low in, you know, in
regard to the size of your account.
It has to correlate, you know, because the risk doesn't change. You still have to abide by that risk metric, meaning that if I'm only risking 1%, do you really care if it's 100x or 20x? Your position size is going to be different between the two, or even 5x. Personally, I stay away from the 100x stuff because it, you know, it does get you super excited about these wins, and you see these large percentages, and, you know, eventually you stray away from maybe the idea of staying conservative and within your system.
That's
and
really
so that can happen, you know, I mean, but it's no shade to anyone that does it. By all means, it's your guys' money. You can do whatever you'd like. It's just not something that I advocate for personally.
If you are looking to do some leverage trading, and as always, we are not advocating that you do that, but there is a Femex link down below if you're looking to get involved. Hey, it's one of the ways that you can help support the channel, so the link is there. All right, so let's talk Cardano. Magic, I know that's something that you've had your eye on. Let's kick it off with that and see what
I did. Cardano did me a little bit dirty. Didn't do CVO dirty. He caught this one. I did not. So Cardano, I was actually looking a little bit lower here for this area on the chart. And you could really extend this box up to probably 20 cents, if I recall. So if you go out to like the yearly charts, we always start on the high time frames. Where are our macro levels? As you can see, you're coming down here to the 2021 lows and really looking for that 2021 low or the 2020 high here. That's where you extend that box up. And when you get down to like the daily, you can see that you got really close. And you'll always hear me say things like trading isn't about perfection. But I do also believe in only trading when it suits me. So if it doesn't hit my target, I usually don't trade it. I just set an alert and I walk away, right? So Cardano did front run that. Hasn't done anything material just yet in terms of what you would be looking to see. But if you start zooming back in and out on the high time frames, we can get some really clear inflection points in the market. Like your 6-month chart here is not going to tell you too much off the rip, but I'm going to keep that there right now just because that's the last candle of that's the first candle of 2022 on that dump. Let's go to the 3-month, see exactly where that correlates and what quarter it was. All right, so that's your Q2 low, and then you've got a Q3 low right here. So right away, you can really start boxing this region off as a resistance because these are going to be areas that held as support on a really high time frame like the 3-month or the 6-month. So you know that there's likely some kind of a resistance there and probably a range that had formed. You start cruising into the low time frames, you can start seeing the respect. Okay, now our high time frame levels start to make sense. And that's coming in right at what, 40.3 cents and 38.4 cents. So far, you're pressing into it. And if you get through realistically, you're probably looking back up to like 50 cents. But we'll do a little further digging and take a look.
Which would be a nice move. I mean, that's going to be
this is a really great move. Yeah. And if you missed out on it, one of the big levels for me was 34.1 cents, obviously. And what you'll notice here on the daily is it actually came down, bounced on it, gave it back up, was resistance. And then now it's coming in and trying to hold it as support. So if you start losing 34 cents, you're just looking for like a local support in this region. But now you've got a pretty clear cut range after you broke down from 72 cents. And this is a large range, just like with Bitcoin. I think you could go all the way from May to here and you could actually zone this off and say, okay, where am I looking for? Extend that to the right. There we go. That's what I need. You can see you're trying to find acceptance. So yeah, you do want to see this getting through this box. If you get through the box, the first move is going to be 46 cents and then probably that 50+ cent area, maybe as high as, 58 to 60, like up here at these local highs. And that's going to look a lot like a lot of the alts. I think they're all coming into resistance again. And with this one, it's a nice move. So I would love to see 34.1 cents continue to hold realistically in the short term. And if it does, it can get that push through 40.3 cents. And then I think you've got another 25-30% on your hands once you're back in this range. I would be curious about this local high here.
59 cents.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I get the right low. There you go. Look at that. So I know we're looking for 49.50 cents, but now that I've seen this local high to low, this point of control right here in this gold pocket at 45.9 to 47 cents. If I was in Cardano, it gets through this box. This is the area that I'm probably going to be taking some profits in. If I'm trading it, if you're just an investor and you're like, I bought the bottom on Cardano, maybe you did. There's only one way to find out, but I would definitely have this region marked on my chart because then you run the risk of something like this. right? So you can look left already. You can see that you've got this nice gold pocket. You've also got these nice highs right here. So what you'd be looking at is a potential swing fail, right? So you just mark these out. You can put an alert here. And what you don't want to see is price making this move impulsively, like super fast up to here and then coming down and then giving this back up. And it looks like all you've done is taken liquidity. And if you bought up here because you got excited, then you're trapped and it's coming back to support, which, you know, realistically, this is a big move back down at that point. So if I was looking at this, this would be the trade I'd be looking for if I wasn't in a position right now, because I'm not going to buy right here at resistance. It's just not in my risk, you know. It's not something I do, but if I was looking at this, I would gauge this reaction. If I saw an appropriate reaction, there's a 17% move down to support here, 14 on the conservative end, meaning that I don't have to catch the exact top. I can be patient and I can still make money on this short-term move. That's how I would trade it. If you're talking macro, what would get me bullish on the macro for this one? It's going to be, we're kind of far away still on a lot of the coins in terms of like how much confirmation do you need? You know, if you bought down here, you're feeling really good, right? That's just a fact. You're probably feeling great. Realistically, you haven't done, it's just like Bitcoin. You haven't flipped any of these ranges on the way down. So you can see that none of these have been flipped. So you need to make that higher high. And I think that 60 cents would be a pretty good start, but this 12-month level right here at 72.1 cents, if that gets flipped, I think you've got, I mean, you don't want to wait till there to buy necessarily, because I think there's plenty of signs to give you entry before then. But if that happens on a macro scale, you've got to think where you're at here. I mean, this is going to be a very large move, most likely. And you can see right here. So there is that, that yearly level. This was support. Now it's back through. If you came back up here and back tested it, that would be expected. But flipping this 72 cent region to support again would, you know, get me fairly bullish for at least another move, probably into like $1.40 range. If I had to guess, somewhere in that region. So that would be like another 100%. But those are moves that are so far down the line that all you can do is kind of like map it out in your head. It may play out nothing like you mapped out, but as long as you've got triggers along the way, you'll be all right. So hopefully that makes sense. Tried to wing that one because I don't have an updated Cardano chart. I actually have not updated this chart outside of this little interaction since since I made it.
Okay.
So
well,
it's been a while.
Let me ask you something. So when you do a lot of volume profiles, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at the volume in the markets. My question is, what has the volume looked like recently, and what does that tell you? We've seen price action. Everyone's seen the market's been green. Has the volume been, because I heard, and I think you might have mentioned it, I've heard a few people mention it, when we were talking about the whole, you know, the airplanes getting, the flights getting grounded and the possibility of the government buying Bitcoin. There's some really interesting things that were happening as far as volume and some order flow that was happening. What is what's volume looking like in the market as a whole right now, or in Cardano in particular?
So this last range we had on Bitcoin, we actually had a lot of buyers up there, which, you know, I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, now that we have all these buyers, somebody's got to get punished. You actually had a lot of shorters coming in as well. So it was kind of 50-50 for a little while there. And you got the push up, you pushed out some people. However, it's not a death sentence for Bitcoin in this case until it loses like 22.7. And I don't even think that's a death sentence. I just think you're looking for a bigger retracement potentially at that point. But lots of buyers have been coming in later. When the rally started itself, like there's always a narrative to why these rallies happen. And, it was the US government buying Bitcoin. It was really actually a lack of sellers. It's just, there was a lack of sellers. And then once we got to like 19,150 and 20K, people just started shorting it. I mean, just like piling in to short it. And they ended up getting squeezed out, obviously, and it goes higher. So I wouldn't say that the volume is like overwhelming, but it's definitely not like something to ignore in this case. I do think that there is good buy volume. I do think that this move so far has been, everybody says manipulated. I don't think it has been. I think it's been very easy to call. We gave you guys levels last week. I said it was going 22,810, then 23,301. We hit 23,400 later in the week.
Dude, you missed about $100. Jeez, I don't even know why we bring you on here.
Man,
it suck, man. And then I was like, all right, we're going to 24K. We hit 23,847 because I overlooked an old NPOC from a London session back in the day. It was on my chart, but I was like, the one at 24K makes more sense. So I still think we'll see those levels over time. It just depends on what we do in the short term. But the volume's been fine, man. The order flow has been good. The only time that it didn't give us an entry was kind of in the, I would say like in the 19,150 region, you were really just playing for the short squeeze at that point and just playing support.
Okay.
So with ADA, I don't monitor the order flow of ADA. In terms of my long-term positions on things like alts, which you can get order flow for these if you use the desktop version of ExoCharts now. They have a lot of them.
Okay.
I don't really watch it too much. I usually just watch Bitcoin because when people say, well, look at, H-bars pumping and this and that, I'm like, well, one, it was that macro support that was outlined. And then two, look what Bitcoin is doing. If Bitcoin's pumping and Ethereum's pumping, like you're all going to pump. There is no news or narrative to put around that. It's just they're following the market leaders, and the market does move as a whole. So if Bitcoin's order flow looks good, then most alts are going to go with it on USD pairings.
Good to know. And, family, if you're looking to look at, we were talking about it earlier, just different ways to trade. Magic and CVO have got they do a lot of range trading. They do a lot of volume profiles, order flow, things of that nature. They've got a Discord that you can get involved in. Follow Bill Noble. He's obviously does the Gann charts, obviously trades, in other ways as well. But you just figure out what works for you. And these gentlemen are the best in the world to teach it. So get involved with them. Make sure that you're following them. Quick second. This is all brought to you by Danger Close Alpha, as always. Danger Close Alpha asks you one simple thing. Two, actually. Number one, smash that like. We got 66 people in here. 66 people, which I love and we appreciate for being here. You can be anywhere on a Thursday, but you're checking out some TA with some of the best in the game. And then secondly, join the Discord. Why not have the opportunity to win 5 Ethereum? We've been selling some NFTs. We're about halfway through with our mint right now. They're 0.01. Do the math. That's about $16 right now. I don't know about you, but people spend, wild money on lottery tickets to try to win some crazy money. Why not spend a few dollars with a lot more opportunity? We're talking a huge opportunity to win 5 Ethereum. And long-term, 5 Ethereum is going to be a large number. Shoot, 5 Ethereum right now is about, $8,000 if you want to do the conversion. So while we're talking about Ethereum, Bill, talk to me about ETH. What is ETH doing? Is ETH following Bitcoin like it usually does? Is it doing something different? Are you playing it different? Are you trading it the same? What's kind of the strategy looking like with Ethereum right now for you?
Okay, here's the strategy with Ethereum. Bitcoin goes first, then Bitcoin pauses.
Okay.
Then this Ethereum story that the regulators are going to put it out of business allows ETH to scale the wall of worry.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, in legacy markets, or in all markets, as Magic was hinting at, right? When people go, oh, I can't buy now because I'm worried. And then the market ticks up a little bit. And then people go, well, I can't buy now because I'm worried and it's higher, right? And as long as people are worried and it's upticking, that warns of a day where everyone goes, oh my God, I'm either not worried or there was nothing to worry about.
And I got to get in.
And everybody comes in. And as Magic said, there's no sellers because all of the crypto that was sold last year wound up in hedge funds in diamond hands. And I think they're still buying. Like, for example, have you heard anything from Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Digital on Twitter or see it? No, nothing. No. And that's because Mike's probably got the Hoover out for Galaxy and all the clients.
Yeah,
right.
You're probably right.
And he'll come on and give you the bull case when it's at 30,000.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Okay, so ETH. This is a little easier on Gann. So this is ETH. We're going to go back to when it started, when it hit the exchanges in 2016. Going to drop a Gann point, right? And then I'm going to drop that 2x1 Gann line. I'm just going to connect it to 2017 high. And oh, look what happens. You draw it all the way out. And that angle provided resistance, right, up at the highs from last year. Okay. You can also notice just subtly, there's the 2018 winter that occurred below the set of lines. Notice what happens when you climbed back through it. Winter over, upward. Blast off. Okay. Here, it wasn't winter. It was FTX. It was both anger and depression. Okay. And then notice how you're back above this bottom line once again. All right. Now we go to time. So that's price. Fib circles are time from the COVID low to the 2021 high. Boom. And then I just ask a simple question. Where are the intersection points? So by March 20th, it looks like ETH at 3,000, which to me doesn't seem very outlandish. You're just basically unwinding most of the negative forced liquidation from, I don't know, the 2008 of crypto, the great crypto crisis. And by January, one of the reasons why I think there's some urgency to be long short term is if you move this line out and you say, all right, where's crypto going to be next year at this time? Probably at 4K, at 4,000.
Okay.
So there's a lot of room to move between 1,600 and 3,000 short term.
Oh yeah.
And I know that sounds crazy, but you know what? Crazy has worked this year, right? Like at 16, 18, you know, I was like, you know, let's do spring. Boom, spring happens. So I'm going to ride price, time, and just this whole idea of disbelief. Disbelief leads to, you know, willingness to short, lack of sellers, right? It leads to people thinking that there are going to be dips.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I don't have to buy it because it's down, because it'll be down tomorrow. And then the next thing you know, what happens? One of the things that happened in equities in 2009, when it came off the bottom, everybody waited for big dips and they didn't get them. Yeah. Or when they got dips, they were sharp and they came back quickly. So as long as people are still afraid of either what I call the knife experience, like last year, like, oh my God, every time it goes down, it's FTX part 3. No, it's not. It's an opportunity. So I'm staying with that theme.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that, as somebody that doesn't trade a ton and doesn't go off of technical indicators, I'm such a hodler. I have a t-shirt on that I've had on all day. I obviously don't have a t-shirt on right now. I had a t-shirt on all day that's, you know, says hodl. That's a big part of what I do long term. My dollar cost average, it's what works for me. Want to take a quick break here. Addison wants to come in for her little commercial. Come here, baby. Hi, Boogie. Hi. This is my little Boogie Addison reminding everyone that she has more ETH than you. Say hello to everybody. Say hi. You going to be shy today? Say hi. I have more Ethereum than you do, and it's in my hardware wallet. It's in my ledger. Huh? Mwah. I love you. You're going to be quiet. Okay. I love you. Oh, there you go. Get the ledger link. It's down below the video. So, you know, my strategy is different. I'm just continuing to stack no matter what. I believe long-term in the market heading up and to the right. I think we're going to see, you know, ups, downs, everything in between. And I have, you know, in the past just kind of really sucked at trading. So I overall, besides having some fun with it and trying to continue to learn, because Crusader and I have been trying to learn more and more. These TA Thursdays help me a lot because I do pull from you guys, whether you realize it or not. I'm taking little mental notes. I'm paying attention. I'm asking questions. I'm on the phone with you guys. You know, we talk about all this stuff, and I am taking it in, and I do take it into consideration when I'm looking at kind of what I'm doing, when I'm entering, even when I'm dollar cost averaging. Sometimes I'll like give CVO a call, for example, and be like, hey, you know, I'm gonna jump in. I would normally just dollar cost average right now. You think we're at a good point? Or you think we might have a little, you know, just trying to get a little bit of extra juice if I can. My concern, and I've talked to everybody about this, my concern is still what it's been for a long time: our macroeconomic environmental conditions. And one of those macro environmental conditions is the XRP case. So XRP fam, smash the likes, first of all, if you haven't already. Put them up. Put a 1 in the chat if you are part of the XRP fam. XRP is going to be a pivotal point in this market. And I know you can't exactly chart whether XRP wins or loses this case. And I do know that it was going to either negatively or positively impact the market as a whole. But because we can't chart that, we got to look at what's going on right now. There's a lot of people that do actively, you know, are actively involved in XRP and not just hodling, waiting to see what's happening. They're paying attention day to day. So talk to me, Magic. What are you seeing with XRP? I know that this is something that you've been watching. This is something that you've been trading. This is something that you've been charting. What are the XRP charts looking like, even with this case still up in the air? We got a lot of 1s in the chat. So XRP fam, love you all.
Yeah. So I think that I do think it's an important case just because it's going to set a lot of precedents because they're a big company, things like that. But at the same time, you know, I trade the chart on this one. It's a big cap, which I like. Good volume, respects its TA really well. So I don't trade XRP often, but when I do, I usually look for swings. Most notably, this was the zone I gave in 2021. I was looking to buy here. Even after it rallied to $1.40, I was like, it's coming to 29 cents. This is where I'm going to be accumulating. And again, we look back on the quarter 1 low. being that key level for a lot of assets right now. And the reason that it is like if you went to like the Bitcoin chart, for instance, this is your Q1 low back here, right? Your Q1 low comes in January, okay? And that's when you got your reversal, right? So if you were to come back up and reclaim the Q1 low, which you failed to do on this one where we back tested it, the same could be said for like some of these altcoins. So you can see there's your Q1 low and further sell off. What did you get here? You're down below the Q1 low. You've got the back test. You need to find your way back into this region. And if you do, I think that you've got some good upside. There's a very macro pattern at play. Really high time frame harmonic. It's a bullish reversal pattern, which I do like. The timing on it is excellent. And it gives us really clear targets locally. So regardless of what XRP does in the case, I personally think that it's going to respect the levels in the TA. I don't think it's going to do anything crazy. Yeah, I don't think it's.
Hold on, let me pause right there. You're telling me that you genuinely is debate crypto. I gotta get this in. You're telling me that XRP flat out loses this case. Let's say they lose, right?
And you're telling me that it's going into decision, in my opinion. If you want to know what I think going into the decision before the decision is revealed, even if the decision comes out negatively, it dumps after that. But going into the decision, we all kind of like assume.
So you're saying you could play. You're saying you could play the run up to the decision, but
yeah,
but they haven't
I think
been
it's going to pump regardless. The community's pretty bullish on it, and so like for whatever they've got going on there, I'm just trading the chart. So for me, I think you're getting a pop out of this one regardless, based on the TA. And this is a giant pattern I was looking for. It's right in the zone I wanted. So I think no matter what, you're going to get that run up. And the real trigger here is holding on to this area of support at 36 to 29 cents on a more macro level. If you were to zoom in a little bit, you could definitely short up to like 33 cents and like call it a quarterly level. Like you could get rid of this and you could come in here and you could just see right away where's the most important levels. Well, it's the level we were looking for. See where we're closing at and holding as support. You want to see that continue. If you don't, you're probably coming down into this range. And for all the guys who said I would accumulate even more, you'll get your opportunity. But if you crack through the Q1 low here, you've got some serious upside. I mean, at a minimum, I would expect to see this high right here, which is at 85.24 cents, which is going to come in really closely. It is a big move, even from where we are. That's 100%. And this is a big cap coin. It's not like it's a small one, you know, and you can see that's also going to be the yearly open from last year. So it's going to be a big level to get through. And if you were to come back in and turn that pattern back on, we normally target levels like that based on where did the range set in before expansion took place, right? And so that's all you're doing is you're, okay, where can I get an easy area of resistance? And it lines up really, really nicely in that region. You could just say this whole region right here will become resistance. What are those? Those are also the yearly open. It's right there at the highs of those quarterly prices on this reversal here, right? So yeah, I'm in XRP. I made it abundantly clear when I took this trade that I was getting out around 50 cents. And I was on here with you and Crypto Weatherman. And I said, if it comes back to these levels, I'm going to buy it again because that is good support. And so I did, and it's worked out well so far. So I think XRP has upside. And when you look at this as an overall range, and this should get people somewhat excited.
You have that listed as shit coins.
That's every altcoin. Everything is a shit coin. There's even a Bitcoin chart in here, so don't come at me with that. Everything gets. I do it to everything, and it gets people riled up, and I think it's funny, but it's just something I do. So don't take offense to that, guys. But in terms of XRP, I'll say this: out of everyone in the space since 2020, there is not a single person out there that traded this coin better than me. I would challenge anyone to that because absolutely murdered this chart. Let's go to Bitstamp for this. We'll just pop on over. It's just the easiest way to do it. And so when you're looking at something like XRP, we're in stocks. When you go to crypto, Bitstamp's going to have the best volume, not the best volume, but the best amount of time for it. And you can see that I've even got the levels right here at 29 cents. But I'm going to go to the 12-month chart yet again. And we're going to look at Bitcoin. We've done this before, but I think it's really important for people to see. So you've got your 12-month level here. You've got one right down here. You can now make this its own range. And you can say, okay, this is what we're looking at. Go to the weekly chart. And there you go. So this is your range, essentially, right? And getting a log scale for it so you can see it better. This was actually a date I was looking for in the future for the dump off this. But you can see you've just got a macro range here. So in theory, this is all you're doing is you're trying to buy low, sell high, right? And where are we looking to buy? Well, yeah, I mean, in simple terms, that's all you're looking to do. If you divided this up via, like 0.255, 0.75, kind of like divided into quarters, look where you're at. You're at the bottom quarter of the chart. Does it make sense in any asset to ever be looking to sell in the bottom quarter of a range? No, that's not the place you want to do this. Where you want to be looking for opportunities. You got several down here. You have good swing failure patterns. You had some good technicals that came in, giving you a position. Now, if this double bottoms out of here, you have the potential to run this up to $1, maybe even higher than that over time. And you can start looking at this saying, okay, we have a big range. We have our macro low. Did we just put in a higher low? Can we crack out of our macro range? This is further down the line. Like, I think this has to happen in a bull run. I don't think this just happens if the case is settled. They go to like $10. I don't subscribe to that. But I do think that if they win the case in the next bull run, they'll perform really well. And this range is setting up for that. So we want to see that case come favorably. We want to see XRP continue to hold this higher low fashion. And that would be right in line with something like Bitcoin's range from 20K to 3K, right? So I'm looking at this pretty objectively. You know, I trade charts. So for whatever that's worth to some of you guys, I know to the XRP army, that doesn't mean anything, but that is what it is there.
Well, let me ask you this. So, so you're talking about, you know, it's going to pump leading up to the case, you know, the case. So, yeah. So cool on that. But we haven't really got it. They've been talking about this case is going to be over. 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 I mean, man, I've literally been looking at my XRP bags for I can't tell you how long waiting for this freaking case to be over. Right. And so how are you looking for something in particular? Because as always, and somebody said in the comments, RC again said, buy the rumor, sell the news. Yeah, obviously that is absolutely what we've done in the past. It's a great strategy. It's worked for a long, long time. Is there something that you're looking for in the charts, though, that you think, like, is there going to be a strange order flow? Is there going to be volume profile that all of a sudden you're going to look at? It's going to kind of maybe have an alert set. Is there a number you're looking for? Is there something that says, hey, listen, I think somebody knows something I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and ride this pump right now because I believe that we're going to get some news here soon.
I believe in being proactive, and I think that the very first area that you could really, really look to is going to be last year's yearly open. If you wanted to be super conservative and say, okay, this is when things are looking different, getting back above 83 cents would be pretty big. That said, again, you're going to have many opportunities before then to get in a position where it's like, okay, my risk is very low, like where we are now or where we were. My risk was really low. It makes sense. And so I'm looking at this from an opportunistic standpoint, just like on Bitcoin, where I go, you know, I don't know if this is going to work out. And that's part of trading. You have to understand that. But the reward on this is really, really good. And this doesn't make sense to sell, right? So when you look at Bitcoin now from 2020 and you look at this, look at the chart here. It's very similar to XRP's weekly chart in that same range. So you have your all-time high, your low, your next lower high off of a yearly level and down. This is the same. This is a yearly level and a yearly level. You've established your low. You've come back to that. And now you've made your way back down and you're coming up. So it looks very, very similar shades of Bitcoin accumulation from 2017 all the way down to March 2020 on that last dump, the washout. I'm not saying they're going to get that kind of washout where it's like a flash crash. I'm just saying that the charts have similar accumulation patterns at play. So that's what I would be looking at. And if it does expand, if it gets through that, you know, dollar region, give or take 83 cents, $1.57 is probably coming at that point, in my opinion. I think once you get up to that level, it just doesn't make sense to go up to $1.97, which is that yearly resistance for XRP and reject. And then you have to think, am I really going to fade a multi-year range breakout? You know, like it just comes down to common sense. So that's the bullish case. The bearish case, lose 29 cents. And this thing probably heads south of 19. It's like, so you have to know both, you know, outcomes. But I do think regardless of how the case turns out, I think it pumps into the case ending. And we don't know when that's going to happen, as you alluded to. But I think if XRP is reclaiming some of these resistances, like it's probably going to get a rejection when we first head up to some of these levels. And it'll take time to work their way through them, as most things do. But if we see that and XRP is resolving it positively and we're going into our next cycle bull run potentially, you know, you have all the factors to say, man, I should probably be long this asset, not looking to short it. That doesn't mean there won't be other opportunities that maybe have better performance in that market, but there's always going to be another opportunity where something could outperform another asset. Like you kind of have to pick which ones that you're comfortable with, that you want to ride out and have a plan, and just understand that you're going to miss some of the other ones. Like I missed, I don't know how many 100x coins I've missed in my day. So it is what it is.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes I am definitely, I feel like guilty of being too conservative. Now, it's still done very well for me, so I don't feel too bad about it. But I have a buddy that's actually going to come on the show here. I think, Bill, we might have you on with him on maybe a Monday. And he is the guy that does, I'm talking about a deep dive research. He's probably got $15 million in the market. Good friend of mine, does deep dive research into I'm talking some of these like super low cappers, right? And he dives fundamentally into these projects. So we're planning on having him on, and we want to have him on with somebody that can do TA that also, loves getting into alts. And we're going to give, so like Bill, if we have you on for that, for example, we're going to have him, toss me which ones he's looking at or whatever, have you then chart those, and we can look at, okay, here's what he's seeing fundamentally. Here's what he's seen happen. Here's the kind of returns he's seen. And we're going to do just like a wild altcoin day. And I'm excited for it. Excited to have him on. So Crypto Fam, stand by for that. Smash the likes. We got 82 people in here. We love each and every one of you. Get involved with Danger Close Alpha. As a reminder, dangerclosealpha.com. Win yourself 5 Ethereum. So I promised that we would, before we end the show, hit up the chat for a rando alt. And the rando alt today, Brad, you are the man. Matic, baby. Matic has been in the news a lot. Polygon has taken a front seat as it relates to the crypto space. It's gone mainstream. Companies like Disney have got involved with them. I believe Nike was doing. There is a lot going on that people are interested in Polygon Matic. So let's look at what the charts are saying about Polygon. We know fundamentally some of these big, companies are interested in what they're doing. I love Matic because it's a layer 2 scaling solution on my girl, Ethereum. I like the fact that it is fast. I like the fact that is inexpensive. I've been really happy with Polygon Matic. What are the charts saying, Bill?
Okay, let's jump into this. I like using something called Fibonacci speed resistance fan. Okay, that's sort of like a way to look at both price and time, particularly if you're going from a major top and you've had this huge down move and you're trying to come off, trying to navigate levels. So you hit the indicator, you connect the high to the low of the bear market, and you see what you get.
Okay.
So as it turns out, right as the year started, Matic did this kind of sideways breakout from this first line, right? That was 73 cents. And then the next line is $1.35, $1.38. So Matic clearly has upside, which is relatively easy to say on a big 10% up day. Now, let's go to the Tom DeMark work. Okay, DeMark was a quantitative technical analyst, right? This is textbook, right? It counts a certain set of conditions, like the high is higher than the high 2 days ago, right? The first part is 1 through 9. That's called setup. Then it chills out, and then the countdown is 1 through 13. And the 13 signal is something that you look at and go, uh-oh, that's a warning you could get a top, right? Now, I know people like Matic, and when I look at this chart, which says I have room to $1.38, and this chart that says, I don't know, let's be sensible about profit taking and risk reward. This is my conclusion. You have a 13 in Matic, right? People have hated this thing, right? They have hated it. And
what's
the
13 mean, Bill?
That it's called, well, it's called a sequential top.
Okay.
It means the trend has come to an end.
Okay.
Or you got a warning that the trend is about to end. Very simply, right? In other words, these sets of conditions or the sort of the strength of the trend, it's too stretched out, or it could be. Right? Now, these signals are open to interpretation. Here's how I would interpret them. When you have a 13, you have a warning that you could get a top. I think what happens is this thing blows off to $1.30. In other words, you'll get the 13, it'll pause, but then you could get one final leg up to $1.30, which would get you to this line.
Okay.
Now, even if that's incorrect, there's this idea about sector rotation coming off a low. Everything doesn't go up all at once, right? Like Phantom and Aptos were moving. Now Matic is moving. and it can pay in this market to do active portfolio management. You got a bunch of gains in Matic. You see this thing kind of blow off higher or even stall out. It actually might be time to take some money off the table and rotate into the next thing. The only reason I don't want to rotate out of Matic today, even with this signal, is that people have just hated this. The short sellers were on this. They wanted it to go to zero. So it may take more than one day to stop them all out. $1.38 is the best upside target I can come up with. A sort of, I don't know, a more normal upside target might be a high at $1.16, just going straight across, because sometimes going straight across, diagonal trend lines traditionally don't always work, but horizontal ones actually do. I learned this from a trader in crypto. So thinking horizontally traditionally and thinking those fib speed resistance diagonal lines to go outside the box. Bottom line, Matic can go to $1.38. It can go to $1.16. If it does, it's probably time to rotate into something else.
I love Matic for, like I said, just fundamentally what it's doing. I guess so. The overall your overall thesis is we've got, where are we at right now? $1.09-ish.
$1.09.
At $1.09. So that $1.38 you're saying is going to be an important kind of number. So what is that? About a 25% move ish?
Yep, 25%.
See, like that's Rain Man Keeper math, mental math there. Yeah, no, I one of the things that I would like to do more of is a little bit of swing trading, if anything. And I like swing trading. I like swing trading assets that I believe in the fundamentals behind them. So for me, and again, as always, we're never giving financial advice on here. Matic is one of those that I like for that. I believe in what they are doing. I believe that they are not going to, just fall off the face of the planet like people were suggesting once the ETH merge happened. This is definitely an asset that I'm keeping my eye on. I definitely hold some Matic, full disclosure on that, and I look forward to hopefully seeing it pump along with the rest of the market. All right, gentlemen, as always, thank you for coming on. It's TA Thursday. Each and every one of you in the chat. We got 86 people. I'm hoping we have at least 86 likes. So I'm going to give you one last chance. Smash that like. It takes 2 seconds. If you're in the mobile, X out. Boom. Hit the like. Come right back. We are still here. If you are not already following Magic Internet Money and or your boy Bill Noble, make sure to follow them. They've got fantastic Twitters. They're very active on there. As always, their YouTube. Bill is on his own. He is no longer with Token Metrics, so he's taking the world by storm right now. He's hitting it up on TikTok, doing his thing, so make sure to give him a follow. And then Magic, as always, bringing the heat. He's got a Discord where they are teaching. They've got their morning stream. What time's your morning stream, Magic? 7 or 8?
I guess that may be your time. It's 9 a.m. Central and then 10 a.m. Eastern. Actually,
no, actually,
that's on Eastern. Yeah, that's on the Leading Crypto. I think you guys have that in the description though. So
yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's Leading Crypto. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, Crypto fam, we love you. We hope everybody has a fantastic day. Just remember to question everything, trust nothing, and until next time, hodl like it's hot. We will see you soon.